kiddos. So I am going to start another little chapter book, and this one is called Cam Jansen, The Mystery of the UFO, and it's by David A. Adler. So Cam Jansen is a character I really like, and she solves mysteries. She and her friends solve mysteries. And there's a whole bunch of these books. So I figured I would read you one of them, and if you like the character and the way she solves mysteries, you could probably find some of the other books that are about her, because there's a whole bunch of them. So, Chapter 1. One cold November afternoon, Cam Jansen and her friend Eric Shelton were walking through town. Eric wanted to enter a photography contest. Cam was helping him look for something to photograph. Cam picked up a crumpled potato chip bag from the street and held it over a litter basket. "Take my picture," she said. "You can call it Local Girl Cleans Up." "I can't take a posed picture," Eric told her. "You know the rules." And a posed picture is one where you stand and get your picture taken, and you know you're getting your picture taken. So Eric says for the contest, it can't be one of those. You have to just take a picture of something that is happening. Eric reached into his pocket and took out a page torn from the newspaper. "Here it is," Eric said, pointing to the page. "Rule 3. "I know the rules," Cam said. Cam closed her eyes and said, "Click." She always said, "Click," when she wanted to remember something. "My mind is like a mental camera," Cam often explained, "and cameras go click." "Announcing our first junior news photography contest," Cam said. Her eyes were still closed. "Grand prize, $100. Entry rules: 1. Only 12-year-olds and under may enter." As Cam talked, Eric looked at the contest announcement in the newspaper. 2. Photographs must be black and white. 3. Photographs must be of a local interest. They must not be posed. 4. All entries must be received no later than November 30th. So here's a picture. Cam is listing off all the things that she saw on that piece of paper. When she said click, she actually remembered, she memorized everything on the piece of paper. And then Eric is checking by looking at the piece of paper while she lists everything that she can remember. Isn't that an amazing talent? So she's like a real person. She doesn't have superpowers, but this is a very special talent. So she looks at the stuff and she says click, and she can remember it in her mind, every word that it said. "You did it," Eric said. "You got every word right." People said Cam had a photographic memory. That meant Cam could remember an entire scene. When Cam wanted to remember something, even a detail such as how many buttons were on someone's coat, she just looked at the photograph that was stored in her brain. Cam's real name is Jennifer, but people started calling her the Camera because of all her photographic memory, and because of she said click so often. Soon, the Camera was shortened to Cam. "Now, check me," Cam said. Her eyes were still closed. "I'm going to say the rules backwards. 13th November, then, later, no, received, be, must, entries, all, for, posed, be." "Enough! Enough," Eric said. "You're going too fast. I can't keep up." Cam opened her eyes. "How did you do that?" Eric asked. "I have a picture of the rules in my mind. I just read from it." Cam put her books and lunchbox down. "It's cold," she said. Cam closed the top button of her coat. She pulled down the knitted cap she was wearing until it covered the top of her ears. "And it's getting dark," Eric said. "I'm not going to find anything to photograph now. Let's go home." Eric put the camera back in its case. "I'm never around when anything happens," he complained. "And I'll bet if I am around either, I won't have my camera or I'll be out of film." "Or," Cam said, "you'll forget to take the lens cap off." Cam and Eric often spent time together. They were in the same 5th grade class and lived next door to each other. "If it wasn't for your hair," Cam's mother often teased, I'd think you and Eric were twins. Cam had what people called bright red hair, even though it was more orange than red. Eric's hair was dark brown. Cam and Eric started walking home. They walked past a row of small stores at the edge of a shopping mall. Then they stopped at the corner and waited for the traffic light to change. Meow. Cam and Eric looked up. A gray and white kitten was high in a tree. The branch she was standing on was shaking. The kitten took a step towards the edge of the branch. The branch shook even more. Meow. I think she wants to come down, Eric said, but she doesn't know how. Cam opened her lunchbox. I have part of a tuna sandwich in here. Maybe I can get the kitten to come down. Cam reached up and put a piece of tuna fish on the part of the branch closest to the trunk. The kitten saw the food and turned around carefully. The branch shook, but the kitten didn't fall. She walked down the branch and ate the tuna fish. Cam reached out for the kitten. And there's Cam. If you look closely, you can see the little chunk of tuna fish on the branch right near Cam's mitten. Eric was holding his camera. Smile, he said, and he took a picture just as the kitten jumped into Cam's arms. I'll call that picture, Local Girl Saves Untamed Feline. Cam turned to put the kitten down. Then she stopped. She heard noises. Across the street, people were shouting and pointing. Cam looked to see what they were pointing at. In the distance, Cam and Eric saw floating green, yellow, blue, and red lights. The lights seemed to brush against one of the trees at the edge of the park. Cam looked straight at the lights and said, click. So what does that mean when she says click? Yeah, it means that she's memorizing. She's like taking a picture of what she sees. So she looked at those colorful lights and kind of took a picture. And we'll see if that comes into play later on in this story, her memory of that moment. Okay, that's the end of chapter 1. So you've met Cam Jansen, and let's see what happens to Cam Jansen in our next chapter. See you then.